Well, hello again. This is Everett Johnston, author of Commercial Plumbing Maintenance. Now, today, not today's, today we're going to talk about estimating plumbing. Now, estimating is a trade secret for most plumbing shops. And the reason why is because, that's how you make your money. When you go to a job, it could be, anything, a residential home or commercial building. There's steps that you take. Now, in the old days, they'd put it all on paper and stuff, but now they've computerized it much, much more and much simpler. But it's still a secret. You don't share your estimating secrets with someone else. So let's just show you an example in my book here, okay? I wrote a bunch of estimating diagrams for you to understand. All right, so let's go with a hot water heater. A regular 52 to 60 gallon water electric heater should take 3.35 hours. Now you say 3.5. Wow, where'd you get to that? Well, a lot of this takes years of experience. And it goes, here's a regular 75 gallon electric. That's 4.25 hours. You get into electric, you get into gas, and this is how many hours it is to set the water heater. Now, I go into other factors in here. All right, so now you've got your water heater set. So it takes, let's say, average 4 hours. That's to set the water heater. Now you got your valves. Each valve, how long does it take? Is it soldered? Is it welded? Is it, all the different new techniques that they have now? A lot of the water pipes now are all this poly stuff that they, glue in, and they have compression fittings. So every one of those fittings takes time. So you add that time up. So the water heater is 4 hours. To put in a valve, let's say it's an hour. To put in an elbow, 10 minutes, 3 minutes. To put in a hanger, okay? The hanger, it takes, let's say, 3 minutes. And then, so you add all of this up. So you make a drawing, a diagram of what you're going to install. And you can, you draw it out before you place the bid. So a customer in a residential home wants to remodel their second floor. So you're going to estimate how long it takes, to cut the sewer stack, take it up through the floor, run your vents, run your drain lines, run all your supports, and every one of those items needs to be estimated. So when you're done estimating, normal example, a house with a toilet and a lavatory, a sink, a bathtub, or a shower, and if it's on the second floor and you have to run out the vent, or if you can connect to, to an existing vent, you're probably looking anywhere from 32 to 40 hours. But you still want to take the time to estimate that. And on these larger projects, it even gets, much more complex, because it's not just about the man hours. You've got materials too. So if you're a small shop and all you're doing is going buying from the local hardware and you're getting 10% off, well, if you're a larger company and they decide to bid against you, these guys, they already have stock in their building, or they have materials that they've had in a shed or a trailer or whatever. So they say, okay, well, I bought that 5 years ago, 1,000 foot of pipe, and so I'm just going to charge what I paid for it 10 years ago. So the material wise, they're going to beat you just on material. So it's very cutthroat out there, and it's very competitive as far as estimating. Now there's several books out there you can buy just strictly estimating, and there's some good ones, and then there's some that I don't think they're so great. But my book, gives you quite a few items in estimating that'll give you at least an idea, of what you're looking for. Valves, threaded valves, shock absorber, 2-inch shock absorber takes 1 hour and 0.35. 2.5 inch, 1.65. A 3-inch, 2.30. Well, these figures all came together from just, shall I say, years of experience, as well as combining other books and making my own estimating, deal. So just so pay attention. Being a plumber is fun. You know, it's exciting. Now, being an estimator is also, it's a different world. I mean, you may be a plumber, but let's say you got injured. And so now all they want you to do is estimating for the shop. They may sit you down and say, "Hey, here's our secret, our secret estimating figures. We'd like for you to be our estimator since you were hurt." And it could be temporary, it could be permanently. And you may hate it, but at least it's another occupation that you could be doing while you're recovering or while you are permanently injured. So, estimating is in its own field. And that's pipe fitting, steam fitting, electrical, you name it. It's all estimating. And those who get the best estimate get the most jobs. And that's how these guys, when they say, "Well, we're going to get you to work." Well, they're out there trying to estimate while you're working in the last job. And if they get the project, great. And if they don't, well, you may be unemployed for a while. So you do want good estimators around, and you want to concentrate on that and pay attention to that. Because they, like, okay, for us, I know I'm carrying on, but for example, I'll still come out and say, you're on the job, you're the foreman on the job, you may have 3 or 4 or 5 plumbers working for you. And the general foreman will come out, and it may be, it's a larger company, and they come out and they say, "Look, we've done the groundwork, and we only have 120 hours left." And in your mind, you know that you're either ahead of that or you're behind the 8 ball. And if you're ahead of that, then that gives you extra hours when it goes to run the water lines, or when comes time to run the storm drains. Because you have storm drains in a large building, you have the sewer, the water, you may have gas, uh, you may have all kinds of other stuff, but each one is broken down. And so what they try to tell you and try to keep you abreast is that you want to keep the job on target. So the goal is to listen to the general foreman and pay attention to what that estimator did, because they'll have their meetings. Everybody has meetings. They love their meetings. I don't like meetings. I like to work. I don't like sitting around with meetings all the time. Just what needs to get done, where's the blueprints, let's get it done. You go worry about all the hours and stuff like that. Unless I'm doing the estimating, and then I worry about it. But most of the time, it's just easier to go do the work and then to know, okay, look, you've had 600 hours on just the waistlines, and you did it in 400 hours. Wow, that's great. You got 200 man hours left to make profit. So when you get up, as you continue with that building, the goal is to cut your labor force or increase your labor force. So it depends how the building's going. You got to pay attention how the flow of the building is. All right, well, I've given you enough information. That's for new work, and I know that's new work. That's not maintenance. And the book is about maintenance, but it all is part of that, because in maintenance you're watching them perform the work, and you're saying to yourself, they told me, or whatever, this project's supposed to be done in a certain amount of time. We need to do a walkthrough. We need to see what they've done, and that's when you pay attention. Are they using? I can get in this forever, but I'll just tell you real quick about a couple things. They had at the VA hospital, and I'm sure every government project, it is quite sickening. They'll come in and they'll say L copper or K copper, all right? And the company puts in M copper. And they know that the project manager, who is not a plumber, not an electrician, not whatever, they don't even pay attention to that. And does management have the plumber do the walkthrough? No. They have a project manager. So as a leader, I would walk through these projects and say, "Look, you didn't put a backflow preventer. You've got M copper. Are you kidding me? In a commercial building, in a hospital? You didn't put a carrier. You're putting a strap up against the wall to hold a lavatory in." I mean, it's ridiculous, the things that they'll cheat. And that's cheating. It's cheating. It's not like they're doing it, whatever. They know that this guy, the project manager, is a dumbass. And so they save money and they do it. They get away with it. And they sneak around and they just ask themselves, okay, how smart is this guy? Now, if he's a smart project manager, well, then they kind of pay more of attention and they try to do it more per code and more per regulations. But if they got themselves a dumbass project manager, I mean, they see that cherry coming out of the woodwork, and they cheat. That's all there is to it. I mean, and I haven't seen it ever in a commercial with the union. The companies I've worked for, I've never seen that. Never, ever, ever saw that. It's cruel. It's wrong. Poor taxpayers are paying the money. That's why these projects get over and over budget, over and over budget. Oh, really? Did we do wrong? Did we put the wrong pipe in? I thought we were using the international code, not the state code. I thought we were using the universal code. What the heck are you talking about, my friend? This is a commercial building. None of those codes say you put M copper in it. Are you ridiculous? Okay, I gotta go. I'm driving me crazy. You know what I mean? I'm driving myself crazy. Thank you. Let's see if